I really want one of those hats, those CS hats.
They're pretty cool, aren't they?
Yeah.
Well,
It'd be sick if there was snapback, so I could
but you'd hide the hair at that point.
the hair should be hidden. Apparently it's, fresh out of the shower, waking up at 7 p.m. to cast CS overnight. Welcome back, guys. It's going to be the semifinals this time before we decide and get to the conclusion of tomorrow night's game, the best of 5 to decide who will make it into the group from North America. And now things do start to get interesting. No more lopsided games. It's a good, I think, equalized field now.
That's what we've seen so far is it's difficult to judge how good these teams have actually been playing. 'Cause like you said, it's been pretty one-sided affairs so far, right?
That's for sure. And we'll take a look at the bracket and show you exactly what we mean, because the scores were definitely favorable. 2-0 all the way through. 3-Sup took down American Misfits. Brand new team, mind you, but still not to be surprised at all. 3-Sup now. Affinity, former Affinity, now sponsored by 3-Sup, coming out hefty. Same with Method over Doyce, SKDC, 4Kids. Now, the interesting one was Lunatic's second game against Face It Easy, a pug on Dust 2 that was actually 10-5 for Face It at the first half.
Yeah, that was the first interesting game we had out of those 4 ones, I think. That was when it seemed like they were on the ropes, but they did come back on their CT side. They actually stepped it up and did 10 rounds in a row. So I think they're just finding their feet on the second map. But the first game of today is going to be 3-Sup versus Method.
Yeah, and I know you were saying on the forum, Silent was even saying it should be 50-50.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting when a player who actually plays one of the teams is coming out saying, I don't even know who's going to win this one. So he's calling a 50-50. And all I've seen from these teams so far is the roles we had on the first day. So it's kind of hard to call this one.
I'm going to actually favor toward 3-Sup just based on the fact that throughout the pro season, they actually made some progression and started to improve. They were just below Tempo Storm, just below Nihilum in the overall standings, but still did fairly well. Definitely showed signs of improvement against the returning teams, against the top-level teams in North America. And obviously, yes, we don't have a lot to gauge from in this particular bracket, but both of these games tonight could go 3. I mean, 50-50 from Silent, yes, that's a possibility, but I still think 3-Sup has the upper hand.
I think you're right, and I can't wait. This is the first time we actually may see 3 maps as well. We've seen 2 zeros all the way through. And just looking at the players as well, I think the standout ones for me for 3-Sup the other day, I think Kiko, a player I hadn't watched before, I thought he was really great, really explosive, high fragger, so that's going to be cool to see. And Method as well. Silent, he seems to be the standout player, right? The one everyone talks about most of the time for them.
Yeah, well, yeah, Silent's definitely a consistent player, but to go back to Kiko, what you were saying, he was the latest addition onto this 3-Sup roster. I know Arya in an insider event on ESEA was just talking about how much difference he brings to the team and how much they feel sort of revitalized by having him. Things were potentially going stale. So I think it's really good to see him come into the roster, and like you say, had a really good. Obviously, it's hard to tell when it was a big 2-0.
The whole thing.
Yeah, it was really hard to tell with the big 2-0 lopsided scoreline, but had a really good night. 2 nights ago, and for fantasy value, because he's newer to the roster, his value was.
This is why
nuts.
I thought the fantasy stuff. I thought it'd be easy tonight. I said we've seen all these players now, and then I realized when I was doing it, like it's difficult to even tell who's actually going to play good tonight. This is where it actually gets difficult and interesting for them. So.
Oh yeah, no, tonight could go anyway. I mean, I kind of weighed out on the fact that 3-Sup would take potentially a 2-1 game, and then the other one might go a little bit more lopsided. So I've actually stacked up my roster in the first matchup. We'll talk a little bit more about the second one when we get there, obviously, because Lunatic had a bit of an off night against Face It. So there's a chance that there's chinks in the armor, and SKDC, if everyone shows up, if Stewie 2K plays out, lights out, if why did I lose my train of thought? If Ape, that's the second player's looking. If Ape has another, lights out night, then there's a chance that they can definitely get an upset in there, sneak at least a map out of that. So I really do think both these series should go 3 games, on paper.
Absolutely, and it's going to be interesting. It's the first time I think we can bring some real hype here. It's not going to be emulated at all. It's going to be genuinely close games, and it's going to be actually interesting. So that's going to be good, and some real exciting CS.
I also want to see some op battles materialize, because we never really got a chance for that to stabilize with the economies they were in the first game and the skill gaps.
There was a lot of games we didn't even see in AWP coming out, so that was kind of weird. I think that was showing the skill level coming into play there. But hopefully we see some big duels tonight, and that could be interesting. So yeah, this is all to play for tonight. Yeah,
of course. And if you want to join in on the action, all of the social media links are at the bottom, faceit.com/PGL Esport, and of course Twitter at PGL Esport, hashtag PGL Esport. Get your tweets on screen, get involved in the activity, and obviously check out the website for all the bracket updates, etc., so on and so forth. That'll be on Facebook as well, but you can do both. Why not do both? You definitely want to be a part of both. Go ahead and be both.
All of it.
Both best of both worlds?
Yeah, absolutely. Why wouldn't you?
You can talk to both of us. How many times can I say both? All right, Henry, you're 0-2. Show me what you got.
Here we go again then. Henry G stepping up to the plate. What has he got? So
this is very similar to what I've got, actually.
Really?
Very similar.
So after yesterday, do more. the dark horse, perhaps. I've made him the shot caller. Stewie was my shot caller before, but I'm investing heavily into Doomore this time. I think he's going to be an explosive player. We've got Stewie, of course. He was the one we were talking about, speculating he could have joined Cloud9, etc. Silent, I've already mentioned before. He seems great. He seems to be consistent, and he won't let me down. I'm pretty sure of it as well. Going down even further, Kiko, a man already discussed. I think I've got a really good team tonight. This is better than I thought it was.
This is. I didn't remember how good this was.
Yeah, I didn't even realize how good
Damn, I'm good.
Jason, I think he ran into some troubles when we actually watched him, but it's coming down to the economy now, so I'm having to work out what players I can take from the teams I want. So Jason, he seemed like he had a little inconsistent orb when we were watching him, but hopefully he finds some form tonight and he can get back into it. Going down to Slemmy, I'll be honest, can't really remember too much about him, but I remember him not being too bad. So
he was a value pick, obviously.
Yeah, so this
$7
is
left.
This is where it comes down to it. The last two players, I needed to find some cheap investments towards the end. So there we go, Edie and how do we pronounce that last one again? This is the Game of Thrones one you said.
Which is this?
Yeah.
Arya.
Arya, that's the one. Yeah, Game of Thrones.
So it's interesting that you've gone 2 from SKDC and Method because they're split up. So you've essentially, and you've lowered on Lunatic. You've gone for just Doomore, whereas coming into it, I guess the chinks in the armor you're banking on kind of an upset there because Lunatic obviously getting through to the Pro League finally. But then you've loaded up on 3 sub players. I don't blame you there.
Do you think you can beat this lineup?
I do. I'm going to
not 3-0.
This is close. I mean, this is the thing. Tonight is a lot closer. So here we'll look at how I'm going to beat you and make it a straight. We're going to keep track of this all season. If I like shut you out the entire season, I don't know what's going to happen.
I'll just retire. I think from casting in general, that'll be the end of me.
So I say $14. I doubled up on you. I did go with Stewie as well from SKDC, but the second player I picked up from them was Ape. I have picked Silent, no surprise, and same as you, I've gone for Doomore, Kiko, but I went Abe and Davey. Now, Davey was a value player for me. He actually had decent scores for the money that he's worth. He's my only 3-digit player. Mm-hmm. And then Asan was the lowest on his team, but one of the highest fraggers the other night for Lunatic. So I'm banking on him to come out. The first night I said I wouldn't pick him up. He was like the highest valued player, and just over the one night they've lowered him to the bottom of the team. So it should be a good value pickup. That's kind of what I'm banking on because, again, I said I didn't really pick him up just because he doesn't always stand out. But I've gone for him here, and then, like I said, Ape to close it out. So if you go team to team, I'll explain kind of what I've done. So SKDC, I picked up 2, similar to you. I picked up their top 2 because they need to have – in order for SKDC to have any chance against Lunatic, those 2 players I think have to step up. The Method game, I don't think they're going to beat 3-sup, so I've gone just for a single individual pickup off them. That's why I've gone that route. And then obviously Doomore, Asan, like I said, great value for the points he secured, 100 in his last night. And then 3-sup, I've gone Kiko. I didn't go Jason R. I wanted to go Jason R, but because I swapped in Ape and stacked up on SKDC, knowing that Ape has to step up if that series is going to go to 3 games, I had to drop out Jason R and go toward Davey. And I think that Jason R tonight should have more potential just on the way they're playing. The interesting thing is I haven't gone for very many op players. Arya is good value if you do want to get an op, and if the op's going to play a factor, Arya could be someone that's sort of a dark horse. But then again, with the op, you don't always get the headshot percentage. So
yeah, you were discussing that today, right?
Yeah.
So that's the thing. They normally go for the chest shots. You get bonus points for headshots. So I didn't even consider that until you told me that little tactic. So you've obviously got better insight.
I've given you some hints. But I mean, I'm banking on how far the series are going to go and who's going to have to be a solid player in those series. So the big thing that dictated my later picks were the fact that I stacked with Ape and Stewie. And as you can see in the overall value, Doomore is the most expensive player I have, hence he's the shot caller. Mm-hmm. But Ape and Stewie are right there with him. I mean, that's impressive. And yet they almost if they don't show up tonight, not only will I not get points, but that series is going to be pretty quick.
Well, yesterday you came in like the top 800 or something out of 6,000, was it? So I
think so, yeah.
So let's see if you can crack the top 100.
I've joined into a league actually where there's only I think 100 or 500 people, and it was 5 cents to join, $100 for the winner. So
okay,
look at the value on that. Why would you not play Vulcan? Go join over PGL_Season1. I think is the promo code. There's a link down below the channel, and you can participate with us. There's lots of other perks. There's a jackpot on there now. There's also something which we haven't been showcasing, which is the live fantasy betting, which is right before. Not just picking up a roster, but picking up like who's going to take the first knife round. You can dictate who's going to win the first half, who's going to get first blood, those type of things. They're all questions that go live when the match begins, and all you do is use the inside currency for that, the gold that's on the site, not just your own real money that you're putting into the fantasy team. So lots of cool features. Henry, 3-0 tonight, I think.
After seeing yours, I'm a little bit worried again.
Because I had logic, right?
Yeah, you have the logic. I kind of just choose players.
I spent about 20 minutes on that.
Really?
Yeah.
I spent about 20 seconds. So.
Okay. Well, there you go. So if you beat me, it's even worse. But we'll take a very short break. Come back with Game 1. It is going to be Method versus 3-sup. Well, here we go. It is the semifinals of the North American Open Qualifier. We're down to 3 high-level teams, Premier and Invite Experience, Professional Experience as it now is. And Henry, there's no more blowouts. This should be a square fight between everyone.
I want to cast some exciting CS. I want to get some hype, some high octane into this cast. So that's going to be good. I want to see some close scores, maybe a 3-mapper as well.
I think we potentially could see 3 2-mappers. I mean, it depends. We're going to take a look at the veto here in a second. It depends on what maps come out and how they're utilized, how everyone takes advantage of what complexion their team now has. And I mean, specifically when I say that, I want to see the ops come into play. I really do want to see some aggressive CT sides. I want to see some aggressive CT ops. But more importantly, I want to see them come out because we never really saw that materialize.
It was something that was definitely lacking, like the dynamic CT play of pushing the terrorists and getting the first frag. I didn't see enough of that yesterday. It was very passive sides. We saw on overpass, especially teams waiting so far on the bomb site, allowing walls of smoke to go down and just looking completely lost sometimes. So that's why I want to see more aggressive style on CT and actually mixing things up. That would be good.
The other aspect that we saw a lot of was, and this had to do with the simple fact of the skewed teams that we saw play, obviously in terms of skill level, but a lot of pushing. A lot of CTs just going, I'm going to rush. So if someone gets ahead of themselves tonight, and last night a little bit as well, which we saw on Inferno last night.
That was the worst case of it, when the Ts were actually stuck in T-spawn because they were getting so rinsed.
And yet getting kills.
Yeah. Like, it was a really bizarre game. Like, it didn't make any sense, but it was entertaining nonetheless.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll take a peek at the rosters for this evening's first matchup. Starting with 3SUP again. This is former Affinity, for those of you who don't know. 2 Canadians on the team. Davey, who is also an admin at ESWC, and Jason R. Aria, lots of experience, typically picking up the op for them. Played with Mo back on Area 51. I know they had an interesting dynamic of team, and they're still pretty good friends. I actually asked him about what playing with Mo is like. He's like, it's great because he actually calls people on their mistakes. So in some ways, it's encouraging, but also kind of annoying.
It's definitely a good thing to do.
And then Abe and Kiko, who we talked about, the new player that came in and had a really good first evening with them, at least that we saw. Obviously not the first game that he's played with them total, but it was a good first impression upon me, and I'm very curious to see how he's going to unfold tonight.
Yeah, I think Kiko, for me, is the one, only from what I've seen so far. Like we said, they're playing against lesser teams, but he seemed like he had a very crisp aim, explosive frags as well. And then we move on to Method. Silent, the guy we keep bringing up, very consistent, make sure he gets a lot of frags on the board. That's why I put him in as one of my star players.
I agree with that. I mean, I don't necessarily think that he's the top skilled on the team. I mean, there's definitely a debate for it, but I think he's definitely the most consistent. That's where the thing comes out. I think Streber Roberts is a player that can be super explosive, but you don't always get it from him. It depends on the situations that he gets left with. But then, of course, Ely, Justin, mainline bringing a lot of experience. Ely's another one of those players that in certain situations, if he gets into clutch rounds, he can actually have quite an impact. But I think you hit it right. Silent is the consistent fragger for them.
Well, this is difficult to say again. So I've only seen so much from them. This is the night where I'll actually get to gauge who the star players are, who are the ones to look out for. And then going forward into tomorrow's best of 5, that's when it gets really exciting for them. Then maybe I can finally beat you in this whole Vulcan situation.
So you've already conceded this evening?
I think I probably have. Just I'm learning every single day, though. That's the good thing about this.
The thing is, you've stacked up a different game than I have. So if my series ends in 2 and yours goes to 3, you beat me right there because they'll play more games, they'll get more points. That's the thing now that we're going to see series that aren't.
Well, now I can really understand what makes the players tick tonight. I can see what maps they're good at. I can understand who can step up in the difficult situations, who can come back, who has that fighting spirit. I haven't seen that so far. I've just been 16-4s and 16-5, so that's my problem. Yeah, absolutely. And, I mean, there's a lot to play for in this bracket now that we are getting down to these 4 teams. Because, remember, CLG, Luminosity, and Team Liquid are already invited. The 4th spot goes to any one of those people, and on a good day or a bad day for any of those 3, and by the way, it's the new Luminosity roster, a bad day for any of those 3, there's a real chance they can progress forward through that group stage, much like Flipside did last year in the Last Chance qualifier. Yeah, it's interesting. We haven't seen much. The new Luminosity, the Brazilians now, we haven't seen them play much under that tag as well. I'm really interested to see how that goes. And the replacement now for their opper, ZQK out. That's pretty cool. So, yeah, I don't even know how you say that. I was told by a million Brazilians on Twitter that's like ZQK, and we never ever get it right. Moses and I just gave up and went back to ZQK. Yeah, well, interesting to see how they'll have like a gaming house now, how they'll react to that, and it'll be very interesting stuff. But now we move into the vetoes. Yeah, an overpass out, interestingly, from 3SUP, because we actually saw that come out a few times in the initial bracket that the quarterfinals. But Cobblestone's first, and we haven't seen that yet. And I actually really like this from 3SUP because they have a lot of individual skill. It is a dynamic map. There's lots of space to move on it. And then they took out Mirage. Dust 2 was taken out by Method, obviously, before that. Train coming in, though. That's even more interesting to me. We haven't seen that at all yet so far this tournament, have we? And it was banned against Method last night. Yeah, that'd be great to watch. Like, Train's one of those maps. You have to know your T side, especially. You can't just rely on individual aim and going around working the picks. You actually have to have some set pieces, or you go on the main rushes as well. It's very high skill, very high pressure situations, and it normally comes down to post plant clutches as well. Like, most teams will get the bomb down in those situations, and that's where the real test comes in. And we've seen a lot of teams like fluff their lines recently with that kind of play.
The interesting thing about this is that Cobblestone still has a meta it's sort of stabilizing, but it's still developing, but Train is definitely wide open. There's so many different approaches to that map right now. So if Method picked that, it suggests that they're comfortable. And if that's the case, those two, I think both teams here could pick up their first map. The difference is, though, in these best of threes, there's no knife for sides. So you have the disadvantage of picking your own map, but starting on the harder side. And of those two maps, they're actually pretty even.
Yeah.
So I think the series could be decided on Inferno, where there is a knife for side. So it's pretty straight even, actually, when you look at the advantages and disadvantages of each map.
Do you have any inkling as to what side they'd probably favour? Obviously, CT is...
On which?
On Cobble, sorry. Going into that first one,
I actually think this is the weird thing. Actually, yeah, and there we go. There's, as like you said, 50-50 Silent said, Lounge favoring Method in this particular instance. The thing with me and Cobblestone, I think that it should be a T-sided map.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is that when something is new and the meta is new, okay, Twitch disagrees, they're going the other way. When the meta is new, it takes time to develop, and executions are harder to develop than default defenses because you learn the choke points, you know where you're going to be attacked, you can find safe angles to play. So when something's new and just materializing, it starts out CT-sided by default. And where these teams, yes, they play it in the SCA, but they haven't been in situations where it's getting into map pools. They don't see it as much as, the Cloud9s. Speaking, obviously Cloud9 had a few good games on it throughout the events they were at, but, even more so Fnatic, Mouse Sports, Flipside, who's really good on the T side. Those guys see it all the time. Na'Vi, another great team on this map. They've developed. I think in this game, I wouldn't be surprised at all CT was actually the winning side and the favored side.
I think you're absolutely right. Like, we see a lot of terrorist teams at the moment favoring the B bomb site, but I think there's so much more you could do with the map, like you said. There's so many different options for fakes on this map, especially CTs as well. It's all about knowing what the terrorists are doing, right? And you can push into certain areas and just get good intel. Fnatic are great at that. They push the long A flusher, I think it is, does that quite a lot, and he's so good at reading the game and pushing out, working out where the T's are, and that's what defines the rounds for me. Like, if you can work out what the T's are doing and then rotate between the bomb site, that's what it's all about. But it looks like we're almost ready to jump into this one. We can see the flyby effects here that have been praised so highly recently.
Rightfully so. I mean, the other interesting aspect of this map, like you said, there's lots of ways to fake it, but there's also lots of demos that are now available from certain individuals and highlights that have been made. One such is Happy's ability to lurk at drop. And drop position, to me, doesn't necessarily grant you either bomb site, but it does two things. It cuts off rotations, and it gives you second access specifically on the B site. So if you can win the platform, you're going to have a lot easier time, and it puts a lot of pressure on that third person in B, and we actually just discussed this before we went live.
Yeah.
And then the other one you can look at is Olaf, and the way that he utilizes smokes on the A site and goes for a very late rotation into B, and he causes flanks.
He defined that, right? But the thing is, everyone knows about it now. Like, he was doing so well at that whenever no one really knew how to counter it. It's one of those things when the meta develops and everyone starts working out and playing like that themselves. Like I said, people start molotoving that now by default, and he can't even really play that position anymore. But I think you're absolutely right. That's one of my favorite styles in this game, getting up there, being aggressive as CT, and stopping that traditional T smoke, working the upper platform and going for the AK headshots.
Well, we did have a ready up countdown in place, but that since stopped. I'm not sure what caused that to cancel itself out. But we will get underway in just a moment. Again, 3-sup, as it is their map choice, will start out on the T side. If this map plays, I mean, it is their map choice. If it plays the way they want it to, and they can get things rolling the way they intend to, obviously, by picking the map, then it should be fairly even. There should be no side advantage at the start of this. But similarly, that could be the case on Train.
Yeah. Well,
smokes are going to be the thing on Train when we get there, by the way. I'm excited to see if Method have a lot of smokes utilized.
Just to talk about the pistol on this map, I think most teams, especially on T side, they're just rushing straight up B at the moment. That seems to be the most logical thing to do, especially in the drop down area as well. It's so, the CTs almost have to think, what's the best way to hold it? Do we even challenge that area? At the moment, I'm liking buying an incendiary CT and actually stopping that rush straight away. That seems to work the best. But it'll be interesting to see how this one goes down. I like a much more tactical approach on the pistol rounds. I think I'm more traditional CS player, working out what the CTs are doing and then smoking off the best choke points and going from that. But it looks like we are on a small delay here. We have 4 players on the server, so bear with us. We will be getting into the game very soon.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how I see the op. I still think the op favored at B, to come back to that point that we want to see the op come out a little more. I think the op still on B has more pressure on it, but can have an impact. If you have a dynamic style op player, Shazam actually had a really good game on this year, where if you can play the statue, if you can play the henhouse, now henhouse is a little bit easier to get utilities into you, force you out with the Molotov, get a nade deep in there.
You can be wallbanged to hell as well. It's like
exactly.
paper thin, right? So as soon as you miss your first shot, you better you need to either get out of there or try to get some backup from your team.
And that's the pressure that I was talking about. There's a lot more pressure on you at B to hit that first shot, but if you can get a really, like, if you're hot and you're on and you have an op in B, that shuts so much down. But there's really the safe play as well, which is pushing out long at A, getting information, potentially getting a shot to the courtyard before they're even setting up.
Yeah.
So there's lots of different ways to do this. I mean, A is an information grabbing spot for the CTs, but at the same time, it's such, if you play that long, if even in the danger position, it's such a far rotation back to the B site.
I never liked that CT face on long A. Like, I really don't. It's so 50-50, and I feel like the Ts have so many different areas they can hold it from as well. Like, you have like 3 different positions or 3 different angles you have to face from, especially if they're expecting you to push as well. You see some CT team as well, they push down into the middle, they look at the angle we can look at right now, they push up with the AWP there, and that can be quite interesting to see if you can surprise the Ts in that way. But yeah, hopefully we do see some interesting AWP plays here. We discussed it before, moving the CT AWP around, trying to keep it dynamic and exciting, surprising the terrorist side, and that's what makes a great AWP, like not staying in the static and being in the same position every single time.
And going back to that A positioning too, depending on, like you're saying, if it's 50-50, if that player goes down, it's kind of like overpass in a sense. So if you're playing that A long position, if you've got an early read, that the player that's covering drop can then slide over into A a little bit sooner, get in a faster rotation position, and then the second player in B then moves toward drop to cover that. You still have your choke points covered, and it creates a sort of an interesting dynamic on the CT side that I enjoy. I really enjoy watching. I like this map a lot lately, just in terms of how it plays for a spectator perspective. I know some of the teams still aren't favorable on it, but it's way better than it used to be.
Yeah, well, since the update, like, I used to hate this map. When the first iteration of it, it was horrible. I really didn't enjoy it whatsoever. Like, I avoided playing it myself at all costs. But ever since they changed it up a little bit and actually got the setup right, and they took away certain areas of the map and simplified it almost, it's become a really interesting map, and it's still being defined almost every tournament. It changes up, and that's what's great about these new maps. This isn't even a new map anymore, but it's one that's still being defined almost every single tournament. New ideas coming into play, lots more ways to fake the map, and then the utilization of the Molotovs and incendiaries as well. That's one thing that's always very interesting, people finding new and interesting ways to use those.
So we're still waiting for one player to come in from Method right now. Kiko, Abe, Davey, Aria. Who are we missing? They're actually split on either side. Kiko, I'm not even going to attempt it.
I think we're in.
Are we in?
We're ready. Oh no, I think someone else is dropped out now. It's all going wrong.
Interesting. Everyone's confused. I'm confused. But one player coming back in, so we get to look at our pretty faces while we fix this up. I'm interested to see, though, what the issue is. Because 4 players in, we had another join, and then, okay, now I just saw him join in. Ely seems to have just joined in. Either way, we'll get very anyway. I'm being told by the production that they didn't choose the correct side. That's why.
Oh, you've got to choose the correct side, right? Otherwise, it doesn't work. That's the whole thing here. So hopefully they can sort it out. I assume they were on the right side, but obviously not. You can see 3 sub are on the T side now, but maybe is that correct?
They'll figure it out. It may not be correct. We don't know what they want. We're assuming they want to start CT.
This is so unknown for us, isn't it? We don't really know that much about these teams, especially I haven't watched them on this map. So this thing is the first time we've actually casted Cobble together. So this is a first.
Which, I mean, you talked about. I'm gonna quiz you a little bit on, and it's not so much a quiz. It's a matter of opinion.
Yeah.
But you still have been saying the B site's been favored by a lot of these teams. Which site is actually more probable, in your opinion? Which site actually has more options on execution?
I think the A site, in terms of actual solid execution, you have a lot more options in terms of gaining map control into that long A area, and you can kind of pincer that as well with the danger area, as you coined it earlier. You can utilize it.
That. There's a sign on the wall.
Yeah. Well, I normally call that the steps, but there we go. Yeah, I think obviously the A option is a lot more interesting in terms of everything you can do in the set smokes you can do over the roofs. I think that's actually a lot more interesting. But I think as we're going into that, the match is not starting. I thought it was. It looked like the pistol round was just going live. But yeah, I think most teams are favouring the B bomb side these days. Especially you watch teams like Cloud9 as well. They base their whole strategy around getting that smoke down into the upper platform, Shroud coming out, he's so good at that, and that's what's very interesting to watch.
One of the things that I saw as well when you go back to the ESL NA qualifiers, just to give an example of Shroud using that position, when they were playing against Noble, they actually played on Cobblestone, and Noble never punished Shroud. I think Shroud stood on that platform, which is a fairly small and confined area, for about 30 seconds in one particular round. Took the first shot toward Hen, killed the second guy behind the statue on the bomb site, and then swung out and shot toward the alley at drop and picked up a 3K over 30 seconds. It wasn't like 1, 2, 3. It was that he had that much time and space while his teammates forced everyone else into different positions and gave Shroud the opening.
Yeah.
No punishment for that. Where's the Molotov to force him back in or out of the tunnel so he's in exposure? Where's nades on top of him? There was, utilities to control that B point, and there's actually the T's can beat the CTs to that position. So there's early smokes you can throw, set smokes you can throw. There has to be utilities placed there.
But most teams still, they don't know how to lock him down. He seems to find at least one kill there every single time, and that's what's surprising to watch. Like every time I see, they say they must know what he does in this situation, but he seems to get in there every single time. But
Simple's another player that's really good coming out from there.
Yeah, you send in your best AK player, and it can be so explosive and difficult to hold. But is this it now? Are we ready to go in?
I believe we are. So Method versus 3sup, semifinal, best of 3. Losers done from PGL. Winner, a very good chance. Well, obviously not a very good chance. Winner does move forward, but a very good chance of making it into the group stages, as they'll have a best of 5 tomorrow evening with the winner of our matchup after this. And the pistol round looking to favor B at this point in time. Everybody coming toward drop. It's going to be Ely that's under pressure, and Ely not able to answer the call of Kiko as he jumps through. This is going to push him forward toward the alleyway. Another player joining in as Arya comes out from the platform. It's Method, has to play from a very passive angle behind the rock, and he's got Jason facing him down, and so far neither of them able to connect. That gives Silent a bit of chance to reload, but his teammate's already gone down, and they're cutting off the rotation because they have control of that drop. Abe's going to close it out, and no kills. I take that back. Davey did fall, but only the one for Method.
So that's exactly what I talked about. The straight-up B rush, 3 players into drop down. If you can get that first frag and the CTs can't hold you off, it's very difficult to hold. Especially the Ts didn't even enter the bomb site that much. It just held the choke points and made the CTs rotate into them as well. Interesting enough, though, Method pushed that A-long area. They were trying to get information. They were aware that was happening. They pushed A-long straight away and tried to pinch at the bomb site, but it was too late. The frags were too far gone at that stage. But now we go into it. You can see 3sup getting AKs. They got a couple of MAC 10s and MP7s just to kind of scout it out, but here we go, the confrontation starts.
And so far it works out in 3sup's favor, taking down Trevor, but the scout's out at long. Arya's going to find that there's no damage really dealt. Davey goes down to 21. Arya's on 36. Both of them with armor, so it gives them a bit more resistance, but Jason looking the wrong direction. He wanted to check the corner inside the site. That allows mainline to come out in a bit of confusion because they had 2 players already working up that right side. So Jason just needed to watch the doorway. Cost him his life in not doing it, and things coming back now. Mainline bringing it back to just 2 players remaining for the T side. As they get the bomb down, there's still a chance for him to clutch this out. Davey's going to go hunting, and Davey, he's going to drop. He manages to make the jump with the SMG, but unfortunately the 5-7 prevails, and it's left to Abe, who's got the AK, and the AK just barely holding on. 2 kills for him in the round, but expensive and costly for 3sup.
It's interesting why they went so quickly in that situation. They forced the situation down to middle into the long A area, and when you've got the AKs and the SMG mix up there, you kind of just want to let the MAC 10s go in. They got the first kill. They didn't have to force it so much, and they didn't really utilize what they had in their equipment to actually flush out the CTs enough. They just went through, got completely shut down with some 5-7s. It came down to a one-on-one situation there, and so difficult for them, but this should be a different story. You can see the CTs actually pushing along the area. It's going to be interesting to see how this one goes down. Dave is going to be the first man going in, I think.
So they bounce the flash. Arya trying to catch them off, and they are stacked up. This is the correct read, but they're all there. There's 4. Luckily, Davey has managed to kill one without getting overexposed to mainline, but having to switch to the pistol will allow mainline forward. The response is correct, though. So even though 3sup do get stacked, they're able to cut off the CTs from their own blood. And now they've actually got control of the bomb site, but they go back to take the fight. And that allows Method to get one more as Silent picking up the SMG will make the play. It's down to another 2 versus 1. Kiko very low on HP. And Ely, if he can wait this out, has a chance. He's going to get peeked. Smart and safe from Jason, just to make sure that they don't walk back into danger. Literally, because that's exactly where Ely was playing from. Jason, though, will close it out. Having done the initial damage, he'll use the MAC 10. But still, things are expensive. That's another round where a lot of guns drop. Fortunately, they keep that AK in play.
Yeah, two great eco rounds, sorry, from Method. They read that perfectly, the 4-man stack at long A, and great crossfires, picked up a Mac 10 as well, and put it to a very difficult situation. A lot of guns dropped there, but that force buy from Method puts them in a situation they don't have an AWP, and no head armor as well. Obviously, that's not too bad. They get to utilize more grenades in this situation, but this is going to be difficult for them. You can see them favoring towards the second area. You can actually playing quite aggressive towards the mid area, but no real fast tactics employed from the T side yet. They're going to try work the AWP. You can see him there just holding towards the long A area. This is what we discussed before, whether the CT should face that, but it's going to be a very passive round going into this one. The first gun round begins.
And Arya was looking back by the statue in the courtyard for someone to push long because he has the first op out and he was hoping to punish them for early aggression on the CT side.
His Abe, though, he's getting out in that upper area we discussed, but he will not find the headshot.
That's a good boost. That's a great boost. I love that spot, and if you can find the first kill from it, it gives so much options. Now he can fall off of that. It also allows Silent, as we're seeing, to push up onto the platform. Gonna swap to the AK from the N4 and now goes into the Olaf arch. This is commonly Molotov, but there's only a single Molotov in play right now from Davey, and he's nowhere near. In fact, none of them are. They're all working into A. That's where Streber will do the work. He's found 2 with the M4. And the ability to fall back to safety. A flash just to deter anyone from pushing onto his position. Secondary cubby spot for him. Arya finds an opening. 10 HP remaining, though. Ely hoping to follow that up, but so far no repeat. There's only 2 players for 3-sup. Are up. We did see 2 good ecos. That does imply that the gun round was going to be that much more difficult, and as a result, it's Arya, 10 HP in a 1 versus 3. Getting ever closer to the front of it. Hits the first no-scope. Excellent shot, but Ely was in a great spot, and there's no way he could do any better.
Strebel got lucky to get 2 frags out. I can't believe there wasn't a punish whatsoever there. We can see this is how it went down. Actually, a decent flashbang play from him. This is the kill that should have, that's what he should be going down. The bomb gets dropped, and interestingly enough, he actually stays there for more battles there. When I would have been telling my teammates in that situation, we've got the bomb down, let's fall back, keep it passive, let's force him to come to us, but he stayed there, held his ground, and that's how they force the T's onto their first eco here. They're going to get Tech 9s. You can see they've only got 1 flashbang as well, so you'd assume something quite fast here. Maybe just going straight into B with that, into drop down it looks like now. Just going to do 1 flashbang, drop in and see what they can do. This is normally the most viable thing you can do with Tech 9s. It's so difficult to stop us with a swarm of T's drop onto you, and they've got your flashed as well, so let's see how this one goes down. They may be slowing play down as the CTs drop a smoke in that area as well.
Very passive. As they look to drop initial boost to make sure it wasn't going to be counter boosted.
Here we go.
Good spot nades early. There's the flash. Ely forced out, very far out in fact, so they're going to stack up in the B site. That will allow everyone down. But the problem is, by getting down, they don't have any fights. They don't have an initial element of surprise, and look what happens afterwards. They secure outside of those choke points, and they just walk into them. Bomb down by mainline over Arya, and it's closed out by Silent.
Yeah, very well read by Method. Didn't even stay there for the confrontation. They forced him to come out through the window and out the door as well. They couldn't do anything once they were there. There was no CTs to do for them to fight, and the long-range battles came in.
And Silence brought out an op.
That's what they were lacking before. Obviously, the 4 spies they went into, they weren't able to do it in the first round, and now he gets to mix it up. This is where it gets interesting to see where he goes. It looks like he's going to go towards B. I assume he's going to play at the back to start to kick things off and see what the T's are doing. We spoke about a lot of T's favouring the B bomb side, but it looks like actually another Rico coming in for 3-sup here. They're actually forcing a double one, so that's kind of strange. Let's have a look at their money now. I assume they just want to make sure they get the AWP again and have full economy going into the next gun round.
Wow, that nade does come through that time. As we saw from the overhead, through drop in toward the T hall. The B halls, rather. Does a little bit of damage. Jason R and Kiko, equal amount. Down just 22 HP.
Seems like they're going for almost the exact same strategy here. Maybe they fancy their chances.
I mean, same guns. It's the exact same situation because they're going for the double save with the Tech 9s out.
Literally the same round.
The problem is this time, well, I guess it's not a problem, but Ely's not gone out. Now he's done the same. Ely's going to flash himself back in, so different approach. That puts him lower on HP. Better chance to get the pick, and that's exactly what happens. And the gun isn't in the vision of mainline. So he's smoked off it. They'll secure 1 M4. But how much further can they go with it? Mainline's got him lined, and there it is. The M4 comes into play. Jason R already winning the battle with it. He'd get a bomb down. It would help them so much, but that's not going to happen because Silent closing out 2. Up all the way back at the hen house. We talked about the penetration, but not when there's pistols up.
Yeah, it seems like Method are aware of that tactic, especially after seeing it the round before as well. As soon as they see that flashbang, they completely fall back, reflash it, and try to get 1 pick before dying. But that was really nice play from Method. Good retakes as well. You can see that AWP finishing things up from the chicken coop, like we said. This is where he needs to start deciding. They've seen where I am now at the back of the B-bomb site. Do I change my position? Do he does something a little bit more aggressive here? Yet to be said, but he actually may be changing things up. He smokes the upper platform, but now, here we go then. We have the AWP on the T side. This is what we are looking for. This is the boost from Silent as well.
We did talk a little bit about this.
So he has changed it up. He's going to be a little bit more aggressive, waiting for that smoke to go down and see if he can find that first pick.
And so far, no forward aggression on those smokes from the tees. Abe and Arya are waiting for a chance to try and win out drop, but Ely's going to play that spot again. He's inside the door. Trevor and Justin are far away, and Arya, he actually wins that duel. So Silent goes down with the initial op. The patience pays off, and he was hoping, like you said, when that smoke dissolved, that he would be the element of surprise. He would be there, and not expectedly so. But Arya's not going to get caught sleeping.
They knew that was coming. The Molotov dropped right on his feet. It was so planned, and it worked perfectly for them. That's the first frag, and now they need to decide what they do. They have plenty of time here.
So this is interesting, though, because Ely's going to go back to the exact same spot, and it is very common to Molotov that out. That's not surprising, but with him in there, they might not be ready for that. The trajectory of that Molotov, though, indicates he's on the platform, but it doesn't indicate he's going to go for a fast peek. Only able to hit the first, though, and Abe makes him pay the price for 2 missed shots. Now they've got a potential entry onto the B site, but Mainline's going to slow it. He's taking down Davey. Very low HP. On Arya, 6 in fact, but he's going to try and get this bomb planted. There's a smoke out in front of the statue. That allows him to do it, but he's still in vulnerable position as Mainline's taking down his friend in Kiko. It's all left to Abe. Bombs planted for him, but they've also spotted him down to 15 HP. Wins the first shot, not the second. Mainline to close it out. Good round from him, and Method will continue on 4 straight now.
Yeah, that was pretty cool, actually. Ely picking up the AWP and doing the exact same thing his teammate did before he died. That was cool because it was so exciting. Like, the teams didn't expect it at all. We got the first pick, legged another, and that was the very important round for them. So that's it for them, 4 in a row. And this is where 3-Sub look a little bit lost now. They need to work out what they're doing. They're getting the first picks, but their execution onto the side now, they got absolutely destroyed going for that smoke, but got a bomb down, so the buy is going to be reasonable. You can see the utility there. They have got 4 smokes available, but they don't have the same amount of Molotovs they had last time. And that was important to get in their first frag. They flushed out a CT. But let's see what the CTs do there. This is the time that we maybe want to mix things up. We can see Justin actually has the AWP now. The dual AWP setup. So CTs keeping it dynamic and surprising the Ts almost every single round.
And this is the change of pace now from 3-Sub. Giving up on that B site potentially. You have to worry because the op is in danger, and danger doesn't ensue. The incurring results are that Abe's gone down. Now Arya has as well. Trevor using a Molotov to find his way back into safety because he was left alone for a moment, but good use of his utilities.
Look at the CTs now. They're all falling back. When you get those first 2 picks, the pressure is completely off. You need to force the Ts to come to you. You don't need to give any frags away. Make them work for it. And you can see the remaining Ts now. They've got smokes in their hands. They've got an idea of what they want to do, but it's going to be very difficult to get into the bomb site, especially when you can see that the CTs aren't giving anything away whatsoever, but we may have some confrontation here in the middle area. That's going to be Ely. He's got control of danger, so...
Davey waiting. Davey's looking toward the doorway. Still not aware that Streber's that close. Throwing the smoke. Streber's going to know he's there. And the shot comes through accordingly. Closed out immediately after the final 2 frags come in. And so far, Method, 5 straight are taking the map away from 3-Sub. Their map choice. Yeah,
that was really cool. So Justin picking up the AWP. I don't think they were expecting that at all. They've gone A once, and they actually got a first frag there. But this time, Justin was there, the AWP. He shut it down. He got the first pick. And yeah, it looks like the Ts have got a little bit of a mountain to climb now. They've got the Tech 9s in hand. They can afford a bit of armor there. They've got smoke grenades as well. 3 smokes suggests they've got a set piece they want to run to try and get a bomb down now. But we can see Justin here going for that aggression on the long haul. He's going to get great info there.
Trevor, another spray down. Second time he's got a double. Make it a triple this time, in fact, from lower mid. And now Ely just has to come out with his pistols. Not really going to do much damage, in fact, at all. They take down Streber eventually, but again, that hat trick from him, so crucial. Justin still picks up the op. It's double, in fact, so we're going to have 1 on A, 1 on B. There will be an op come out against them, though. Arya's gone for the same in return.
He's seen what they've been doing so far. It looks like all players heading towards the B area, but they've seen Justin go aggressive now twice in a row. Maybe that's a chance for them to pick it, but it's been the danger man for me has been Silent. He's been the one working the picks there. He's been pushing up, showing aggression, but this looks like maybe a full-on B rush from the T side, and will the CTs be ready for this one?
So max loss bonus here right now for 3-Sub, but they haven't gotten bombs down as of late. They need to get a plant in this one at the very least because the economy of their opposition is growing massively. Kiko does get a kill out. That will help a lot, but Ely turning back to the alleyway spots Jason, who's already dropped past the first player on B, but left entirely exposed. So potentially getting a smoke out on alley could help this execution on B significantly in rounds moving forward. Arya's on 8. And has the op looking for mainline, finding mainline, but not killing, only taking him down to 10 HP. That may help his teammates, and in fact it does, because Davey will close it out, but it's just Arya left. 1 versus 2, make it a 1 versus 1, but an appropriate repeat from Justin. Look how close that was. His HP, not much better than his opposition's. In fact, 2 worse. He had 8 as opposed to the 10 that Arya had.
So a change of pace for them that time. They went for the full-on B rush, got in there. It seemed like it actually went very well for them. That was much more positive. The frags were exchanged. I just don't feel like they swarmed the bomb side enough. They got stuck in that upper platform area too much. They were stifled by the CTs. Did come down to one-on-one in the end, but he had to favour Justin there. He was behind the statue, knew where the T was, and he looked a little bit lost there. But now Justin go for that peek I first talked about. Going for the mid pick, he's going to get flash and fall back, but it's good information. Once you see Ts, at least 3 of them top and middle as well, you can almost assume they're going to be coming towards that side.
And Strebber, he's made himself quite known in this position. Now the flash coming through indicates he's pushed forward, but he still wins the duel.
So he's got the bomb down as well. This is great from him. Fall back, try and reassess, get your teammates over. They've seen the bomb, he can call for rotation, so this is very big play from him.
I feel bad because I had Strebber on my initial fantasy team, took him out for value, but he's making his case known, and Ely, a good position. Again, very passive-aggressive from these CTs as they're not getting all the way forward, but they're getting into positions that are catching them off when the execution comes through. And mainline will close the round. It goes to 8 in a row unanswered from Method. 3-sup have to find something. They have to get bombs. They have to get kills.
Well, they've so far they've got the first 3 rounds, which is the pistol obviously, and they haven't really done a lot since then. Strebber in middle, he seems to be shutting them down. The fact that the bomb's running through a smoke by itself and getting locked down, that's pretty abysmal from them. It's as soon as you kill that bomber, it allows your B players, we saw them as well, they pushed into the B area and they start pincering the Ts, and there's almost nothing you can do in that situation. Now, what is that going to be? Is that 8 in a row for Method? Pretty crazy. Now the Tech 9s are out. Looks like they're slowing it down, but they're going towards that drop down area again, potentially trying that flashbang strat, which we've seen about, this will be the 3rd time now.
They've definitely gone for it a few times. This time more successful because they find the entry, but Silent is able to turn his attention all the way from the platform and no answer. They need to push both positions if they're going to run that strategy, because now we saw the result. The player that's not supposed to be covering that area and should have issues with holding the archway is able to cover it, which slows the entire push. So it leaves Jason, bomb down in front of him, and he's down inside the doorway just like that.
Yeah, well, a lot of these rounds are being quite close. Their ecos are sometimes more successful than their actual gun rounds. Maybe they should be running something a little bit like that when they actually have full buys instead of just saving it for the Tech 9 rounds. But here we go now. I think, will we see the dual orb set up again? No, actually, we got a single orb for, it's just going to be Justin, so that's kind of weird.
Just to go back as well to that replay, that's exactly what I was talking about with Arya being a little bit late, and therefore Silent could take those shots. If Arya is a couple steps forward, Silent has to pay attention to where Arya is, and it allows at least one player to slip through the drop door, head over toward the rock, get out of Silent's vision, and then deal with the players in the site.
Here we go, Justin getting that mid information again. Didn't actually go for the aggressive face this time. Just wanted to see what was going on. The Ts look like they're favouring the B-bomb site once again. Very slow play from them so far. You can see they have got 3 smokes remaining actually, and the AWP. Where's that AWP going to go there? He's going to try and work that pick. But Justin, this time's on the A-bomb side. Maybe this is a chance for them to actually get the first pick and then be into the bomb side. But the smoke, of course, shuts that down. That's 20 seconds. They won't be able to do much here.
So the setup's slightly different this time because Ely is not inside drop. He's actually out to support mainline, who's gone down in the tree. And that way when mainline hits the first shot and he drops, Ely's there for anyone who pursues the kill. But now things have changed up because that first pick's actually really good for 3-sup, but they haven't dealt with Strebber. Again, his impact in this particular position has been outstanding. They need, if they're going to continue to go there, they need an answer for it. Whether they smoke him, they nade him, they Molotov him, get him out of that position and at least get map control there.
Yeah, he's not getting punished whatsoever. It seems like he gets a kill every time and he has the opportunity to even fall back. There's no one there getting the refrag. He's not even got a player with him, so you have to question why that's happening so many times. But they do have an advantage. 4 and 4 does favour the Ts, but the way they're playing right now, I'm not sure that's so true.
Shot Arya, Davey following it up. So here we go, 3-sup. In potential to take another round. Good position to do so. Bomb's going to go down. Justin, Strebber, I think they may actually save. They have a ton of economy, but they're going to play the long game here. They don't want to give it up. Why not?
Well, the rounds have been pretty close, you know. Like, it hasn't been a complete rollover, so they have been losing guns. You can see a couple of players there. There is 3K, but you're right. Their money is pretty good, to be honest, but saving the AWP, obviously playing the long game. This round 13, though, maybe it would have been an idea just to take some more guns off the Ts.
And 3-sup, interestingly, is going to hunt, and I don't know if I agree with this because they're about to reset their economy bonus. So if this doesn't work, if they lose a few guns here, it's going to be hell to pay in the next round.
Especially how the CTs have won like 9 rounds in a row. You have to work out whether it's actually going to be worth it for them. If they drop one guy, it's going to be difficult to come back. But here we go. So maybe does go down.
Justin was the low HP player, too, so he had to hit that shot. But there we go. Lost round bonus, reset bomb. Detonates, and we'll see another full buy for 3-sup, but need to almost tie together both these rounds. If they can get this to 9-6, they have a really good chance on the CT side.
The only reason they actually got that first pick, though, is that the CTs boosted into drop down. The first time they tried it a little bit of a surprise tactic. They actually were waiting so long, they got that pick. That opened up the game for them. It wasn't necessarily them doing something particularly strategic to get into it, but now we can see the T's. Aria, again, AWP working into that area, but getting smoked out kind of resets, and they have to work out what they can do in this situation now. More waiting to come, I think.
Jason R. looking for invitations. None given out. No freebies. We'll have to work for it. Strebber, no surprises, as we saw in the X-ray. Back at home inside the bottom of middle.
They need
Passive
to shut
CT
him down.
side.
This has got to be the round they work out how they can take him out.
And there we see it from his perspective. Now they have thrown the Molotov in. That won't allow him to push forward. Smoke on danger. I mean, if they time a flash, walk in with 2, even if they can get the trade against him, like you're saying, they're not trading him, they have to punish him. If they can get the trade, it definitely puts a lot of pressure on Long as well, because then it would have left Jason, or rather Justin, but Justin's rotated back. So even if they get this kill, there's still a decent hold from the CTs, and here it is. They want to punish, but Strebber is going to flash himself in. There it is. Jason finally winning that exchange. Justin did hit the shot on Kiko just before with the op inside the A site, but now this opens up a lot more. So one-man advantage, and Strebber, importantly, down for 3-sup.
Well, here we go. The bomb is going to be going towards B. This is where it gets exciting. 20 seconds left on the clock. Davey takes down Silent.
And Silent was entirely opened up. We hear Silent actually using the in-game talk. He was a little bit confused, and he's actually frustrated. Oh, this is interesting because Method's pulled it back. Justin getting that kill. It's going to go right back to a 2 versus 1. Just Jason left, but Silent was left very open. Mainline's going to get this kill. He's got a time with the flash. Oh, from his teammate. Costs him the opportunity, and now it might come back, but the time expires. So Jason can't do anything about it. He needs to stay alive now as well, but he will. They've run away accordingly.
That was almost very dangerous. Had he had more time, he could have done something really exciting. It was actually a really good flank. But if you've got 9 seconds on the clock, the CT saw it, and he saw him just jumping out and getting out of there.
Just to finish that thought, though, Silent on tree. The problem was they rotated off early, and I'm surprised he stayed at that position. Because, yes, okay, the boost is there. You have no one else to boost. If you drop, you can't get back to it. Sure. But he has to watch 2 angles. And he looked the wrong way at exactly the wrong moment, which made him pay for it. And that's why we heard him a little bit of frustration from him in comms. But that's the op we talked about on A.
Yeah.
Early information, getting a free kill on Aria. Now he can fall back, stabilize, turtle with the man advantage, and we'll see how the CTs can hold this. Doesn't leave Strebber low, but Strebber's still going to make them pay as soon as they come there. That's his home. You gotta find a way to deal with it.
Pretty rough, yeah.
Well done by Abe, though. Good push by Kiko. Strebber, no idea he was going to be that close. Kiko goes low, but they'll smoke off the retake positions, all the choke points. Justin's made it through, and Justin makes the shot on Kiko. So bomb down on the bottom of middle, and the player who is trying to stabilize the site goes. It's left to Abe, 1 versus 1 now. As mainline will drop. Well done by Abe. So they'll get 5. It could have been 6. It was close. Time ran out. Get 5. Not a bad recovery, but remember, 3 of those were after the pistol round.
Yeah, so that last run as well, they had 2 pistol plays. They had one guy in CZ and a Tech 9. The money had been reset before. They just went for a straight-up mid-aggression. I think after Strebber had been showing so much aggression there, I think they're just like, okay, let's go and kill him. We know we can do it. Take him down. They got it done eventually. It comes down to a one-on-one situation. Abe makes it happen for them. So 5 rounds, are considering they lost 9 in a row, I think it was, it's not too bad at the end of the day. Like that's workable. Winning the pistol for them, obviously, was a big bonus. They had gun rounds. They struggled a lot. Didn't seem like they could work picks so much, getting locked out by the utility almost every single time. Their executions were pretty lackluster. Didn't get onto the bomb side enough. Not enough plants for me, but here we go then. We go into the second half. What's Method approach going to be? We saw 3-sup just straight up rushing B. Didn't work out for them. CT locked them down. And, no, actually, sorry, they actually won that round. So that's only the 3 they got, but there we go. Method going into this now. Staying as a little pack and seeing what they can do. It seems like a slower approach, but going towards the same area.
Jason a long way away at danger. So 4 players over toward B, though. Aria, Abe, both near the statue. Kiko, B side of drop. Davey, connection point at drop. So both sides are held, but passively. This allows 1, 2, 3, 4. We see them all down now. And coming into Kiko, he's going to have to get support from that statue. It's Aria who is the man to play that role, and he's nailed the shot. Now Davey's rotated over, so they've given up the connection point, but they found all the kills, and make it even worse than that now as Davey will drop the bomb. Ely's alive and will fight his way back. 1 versus 5 with a pistol would be remarkable. Stranger things have happened, but not going to be likely. He'll find a second kill. Davey goes down, but look where the bomb is. It's still back in the site.
Just trying to get some kills at this stage. I don't think he's got much chance. As long as the CT sprays correctly like they do, they will take that pretty convincingly. Nice crossfires from them as well. They seem to know exactly what the T's were doing. They went for the drop-down area again. You can see this great play from them. It's coming in from all angles as well. T's didn't have a look in at all. There's too much to look out for them, and it's got completely wrecked there. And the bomb going down that difficult area, one player remaining, and there's a pretty simple dare the office for them in the end. But here we go, and Davey pulling out the auto shotgun. We have seen this quite a lot in the NA series so far.
That's 2 pistol runs as well. I'm actually going to be curious to see how many guns they can stabilize on CT side, because obviously only 2 gun rounds went their way on their terrorist half, and Jason this time will get under pressure and danger, and he's running low on ammo in that magazine. Only collecting the first. Look at the damage, though. The first nade that goes out, plus just the little bit of shots he's put in. No one above 50 HP on the T side. And they've bought armor, a CZ75 on Silent, so an investment there, as well as on Justin, who's got a Tech 9. Again, armor as well, 19 HP left for him. And one more down. That's picked up by Abe. And slowing things down now, the terrorists going to try their hand at B. Kiko's still waiting at the henhouse, and Davey, knowing the timing, is slowly rotating back to drop. That's where Ely's lurking, as we see here now. Does he find the shot, though? P250 he spotted, and the shotgun obliterating him. Traded, though. Mainline, well done by him. Still low on HP for both, though. 24-19. There's a nade for Abe. If he threw it in there right now, he might find the kill. Not goes far enough, so it doesn't even do any more damage, but Arya is going to come through and solve the problem. It's just mainline left. Not
much to do. He has got the bomb. If he get a plant here somehow, that'd be amazing, but I think this is going to come to an end for him. Interesting enough, force buying that situation. When I think you've got that many rounds to play with, I'd have preferred them to actually just full eco, trying to get a bomb down there without forcing the situation, but they will go into the first gun round with a difficult buy. Potentially won't have the AWP to play with a full utility, but it seems like this time P250s, a couple of Glocks as well. Maybe just a straight up rush would be the best thing. They've got a flashbang there. Ely takes 2 of those. So we saw the drop down arrow being utilized quite a lot last half, but it seems like they're actually going to favor the A side of that. Maybe just going through the mid doors with the flashbangs there, one being used straight away. But this is it now. They need to find an entry kill, and the CTs are going to be waiting for them now.
Arya's nade's going to do massive damage. And now it's the sewing machine to stitch up the problem, but Jason actually is going to be the one to come out and pick up the hat trick. But look at the assists. Arya's taking so much damage. So even though they rushed, they're able to secure the anti-eco. We're now within 2 rounds for 3-sup, and wow, an interesting force buy actually to come out from the CTs here.
Well, this is it. It's like when you've gathered that much economy and you can keep these weapons, I think keeping the auto shotgun's kind of questionable, but it allows you to be a bit more loose. You can build up some great bank here, do some aggressive pushes, especially in the drop-down area as well. P90, etc. is very viable, so this is actually not too bad for them. You see Kiko getting that P90 in the middle as well. This is going to be a really exciting round, and a big one that never happened.
Oh, that shotgun they line up. It's actually a team kill. How does mainline turn sideways like that? Bit surprising. All guns ahead. It's definitely a thank you very much from 3-sup side, though. They'll take another round here if they can get it, because this would not only reset the terrorist economy, and just now brought out these AKs, but put them on 9, potentially 10, bearing the anti-eco. Justin's going to try and pull this back, but he's all that's left, because Arya with the op has found exactly where Silent was playing. Speaking of Silent, Justin will be silenced. There it is, 10-9.
Amazing round for the CTs.
This is so peculiar for mainline. He's looking toward the windowsill, and he just pre-fires with the AK.
Didn't even look like he was blind. It's just a panic shot.
I was about to say the exact word, panic.
Yeah, like that was crazy. But Davey, in fact, actually keeping the auto shotgun, that's pretty crazy. Maybe it's working really well for him. Maybe that's really viable in that drop-down area. It seems like he can make it work so well for him. Another eco. This may be 5 in a row for 3-sup, and maybe actually balance the books here and get it to 10-10. Kind of interesting.
Oh, that chicken survived. Okay, never mind. He may have escaped the fire, but the nade came in. Problems for Jason, though. He's trapped inside danger. So does the initial kill, but then he was completely swarmed. He'll recover. Davey again. I love this. The shotgun. He's going like Hiko did on Nuke way back at the start of last season in the SCA, and Davey's going to get a 3rd one. This is just absolutely incredible. Finally, it'll be knocked out of his hands by Justin, but the nade coming through from Kiko. It's 10-10. 3-sup recovering on their own map choice.
This is the first time Method have actually had a decent banker after those force buys we discussed before. They could have had a glass cannon, but I wouldn't have advised that against the CTs. But here we go. They actually do pick up an AWP now. Maybe you can slow things down and work out the pace, but it's been so explosive in the CT so far. They've got great bankroll, and you can see them actually pushing towards the side alley as well, trying to get some aggression going. But let's see what their AWP actually ends up. It's going to be kind of Interesting to see where this goes. T's up toward, they've left the bomb and T spawn as well, so they're just purely going for picks right now. Silent does take down the first player there, and now it's a 5-4 situation in favour of the T's, and they should win this one, collecting the bomb finally in T spawn. So working the pick game and seeing what's open for them.
One up for Method. This time things are different. Jason just goes back to safety because they've rotated all of his support out of A. They've come over to bring and bridge that gap back onto B. It's Davy's job to hold the drop now. They've shuffled Kiko back inside the B site. But they're waiting right now for Method. It's a game of patience. Again, this... Oh, that's unfortunate. Again, this boost going to come into effect, though, from Tree. And again, first shot is crucial. Has to hit it and drop, and he has to do it with drop. Speaking of the exact position, also covered. He may get more than that. Abe does manage, or rather Abe, managed to take down mainline, but he's canceled out. It's through the smoke, though. Kiko, 1-2, make it 3. The new boy on the team making a massive effect. It's down to just Ely, and 3sup might take their first lead since the opening pistol rounds. It's left to Ely. Has an op. Might be worth saving if he can find a way out, but he may not even get that chance. In fact, he wants to take the fight. 22 seconds. Oh, he's hyper-focused on the initial entry point. Doesn't realize there's one to his left, so Kiko with 4 in the round.
That's why I picked him on my fantasy team. He seems like he's a really explosive player. Even after losing the first pick, they reacted. The CTs didn't rotate whatsoever. It was interesting from the T's as well that they actually got the first pick in middle and then opted to go into B together. Quite a set piece from them. Look at that wall of smoke across as well, and they just got completely shut down by one man. And yeah, he did phenomenally well there. And yeah, that's great. That's going to be how many in a row now? 6 in a row for 3sup. A great comeback from them this series. They seem like they're firing on all cylinders, and almost a full buy from Method right now. You can see them actually going all the way towards B again. They are favouring this bomb side.
Double Molotov. That's a bit of a misplay because they overlap. It does cover more area inside drop, but could have saved a bit of utility here. In fact, potentially thrown it to where the platform is, because that's where all the players are coming in right now from 3sup. They're not getting much beyond that. Justin getting 1. That's Kiko, the man from the last round, gone down. 12 HP for Abe, but 3. 3 lowly HP for poor Mr. Silent.
That was kind of weird. Why they didn't really bring much to the table there. They didn't have a lot of utility playable, went straight into B, and after the last round they had the man advantage. You have to question why they do that. They know Kiko's there, and they got completely shut down, and all of a sudden you have to favour 3sup now. They're on the favoured side, and they're getting 7 rounds in a row, and it's going to push Method onto yet another eco here. They've got a Deagle, some PT-50s in hand, 2 flashbangs again, but their ecos have not been the same way. They have not getting any picks, and it's getting shut down completely. So going towards A this time, but Davey needs to work out what's going on here. They're getting shut down almost every area of the map.
Area. Speaking of area, finding the first. That was interesting that didn't land. So Davey finding, or rather Ely, finding Arya, gets taken down, and Davey in response. So it's a full trade, but with the pistols up, that's not a bad trade to get. Davey's going to keep the AK, not switch to that op. Kiko, meanwhile, on B, going to find the lurk player in Silent. And Davey's actually going to gun juggle. Throw the AK off the map, too.
Look how passive the CTs are. They know how to play this so well. They're not giving anything away. After losing that first frag, worked out the T's were on eco as well. Just playing a really long game. So it's so difficult for the T's to even find a pick in this situation. Davey taking down Justin now, make it a 4-on-2. And it's going to be 1 man remaining. That's going to be mainline. And what we have to do, actually finds a pick onto Abe there. And if he can get the bomb down, that'd be fantastic. But he's going to have all the CTs charging him down now. Actually manages to take down Davey. This is actually getting competitive now. He's picked up the AWP.
So a chance for something. No armor. It's glass cannon. He's got 2, as you mentioned. No armor, though. That's the big thing. And he's looking and can't find it. Kiko's going to punish him. Very low HP, so it wasn't too hard with the M4. Made it interesting, but 3sup now 8 rounds unanswered. No rounds so far for Method on this T side.
In a row. This is like both teams that look pretty disappointing on the T side so far. Not really approaching the map. Even when they get the first pick, they don't seem to know what to do with it when they get that situation. I think going towards A is going to be more viable for them, going together, pushing the CTs off into that passive position we've seen so far. But now 3sup have got so much momentum. They seem to do different things every time. We see the AWP is out on area again, but there's nothing to do. They're not getting the initial frags and getting utilising them correctly. But the boost coming in, Abe again, boosting up that trio. He's so strong up there. But the first pick from Strebber, he actually finds it. Will they be able to capitalise on this for the first time?
Well, the first pick, it's not the first time they've actually had the first pick, but it would be definitely the first time they capitalise on it.
Yeah, they've got the pick a couple of times. They just don't do anything with it once they get it. They slow right down, go for an execution, and that's where like Kiko starts getting 4-mans.
Yeah, that was pretty nuts. And they'll shoulder peek. Kiko baiting out the shot with that option. Now they've got the information. It's there. He'll rotate accordingly onto the balcony. Why take the fight when he doesn't have to? They've got to get to the A side eventually, so if he can set up a crossfire, it still works out. Sure, it doesn't give them quite a forward to fight. So if they can get a trade forwardly, they'll bring a rotation over earlier. But it gives them safety. He's actually going to drop inside the side too, so he's committed to this play. And the initial nade does damage. Strebber already low, so mainline needs most of that. And Davey, there it is. One, he's gone to the op that Aria dropped, but they're getting the kills back in reverse. There's just 2 players remaining, but the crossfire's established. This is what I was talking about for Jason. Can't close it out, has to switch to the pistol. Thankfully, Davey's there to bail him. And it comes back to just 1 player remaining. It's Strebber, 28 HP. Again, that first pick may not pay off.
He did really well as well. He got the kill into B, flanked it so perfectly, and now he's got such a difficult situation. Gets shut down by that grenade. I can't believe the T's didn't check that cannons area walking into the bomb site. I know there was a tension, but they just ran clearly past Jason, allowed him to pick up almost 2 frags there, and that was the big problem for them, not checking key points on the map. It was actually a really good strat from Meta. They got the first pick. Strebber was lurking towards B, managed to pick up a pick of himself, so they've actually made it a great situation for them. It's just that execution again, going into the bomb site, making key errors there, and that's going to be, is that 9 in a row now? It's getting pretty dangerous for them, and 3-7 are in touching distance of a victory here.
Aria getting aggressive. He's a little bit late with that Molotov. They'll get through it. They're going to take a lot of damage. Silent stays on top of it, and a nade comes in. He's lucky to get alive, or get away alive, excuse me, with 21 HP remaining. Aria's going to play that second angle now, still forward, but he's got a support system. They've buddied up. They've brought down Davey, so even if Aria goes down, surprise, Davey will pop out with the rifle, and in fact, he's going to go aggressive. Now they know he's there. Flash in. He's going to go alone, actually, Aria, with the pistol. So very aggressive. Davey follows it up. Ely goes down despite collecting that first kill. And it's left just mainline and Justin. Potential match point coming for 3-sub.
That was an interesting play running through when you're the AWPer with a 5-7. It's going to leave mainline as your last man remaining. And they don't see these. No, he's there, but...
Do you suppose he yelled Leroy?
I think he just shouted YOLO as he went through. That was absolutely crazy move from him.
Well, mainline salvaging 1 kill for himself, but 1 kill not enough when you've given up now 10 straight rounds on this CT side for 3-sub. I guess this is why they picked the map. Confidence on their defense.
Well, we've got a pause coming in as well. I guess that's got to be tactical. It's actually 3-sub calling that one in. We're going straight back into it, so there we go then. But yeah, this has been fantastic from them. After watching their T side, I was like, why did they even pick this map? But they've bounced straight back. We saw this yesterday a lot as well. Like, very weak T sides, but the CT's looking phenomenal. So they've bounced right back, got into this, and just got the job done. They're on match point now, and you can see the buy there for the Ts. They have got the rifles and armor, but the utility's not there. We see the Ts utilizing the Molotovs so well, flushing out CTs. They don't have that option now. They need to go purely for frags. They're actually going towards... They're actually going to go towards A this time as well. And the bomb actually going towards B. So maybe working the picks and seeing what they can do and trying to pull some CTs out. Silent going to be going towards that long A area.
Jason's been pretty comfortable toward danger. Only really 1 round he paid for it.
This all comes down to Silent this round. He needs to cause a distraction before they execute onto B.
We'll see if he does. He hasn't used any utilities. Aria's on the platform. And Aria's found the first pick. Davey, Kiko follow up. So the double op's already contributing to the round. Davey, he's made it impossible almost, and there it is, Aria. They don't even Molotov into the Olaf arch. Bomb down, mainline left, 1 versus 5. 1 versus 4. If he does this, I'll be damned. Pick up the bomb, 54 seconds to work with it. Molotov out, doesn't matter. They've come at him from both angles. Jason R to close it out. Do what you were just doing, please.
What was I just
Do you always stand during when you cast?
Yeah, I like to watch, like especially when the Molotovs are tilted like this. I need to have a good bird's eye view.
You're like the Murray Walker of esports.
Does he stand?
He stands. Murray Walker's the greatest sports commentator of all time. Well done, though, by 3-sub. That's a massive comeback. 11 straight rounds on their CT side after a lackluster performance. Only 2 gun rounds picked up on their T, and they now have the the map advantage in the best of 3 series method. They said by their own admissions, by Silent's own admissions, it could be 50-50. Not if your T side's going to do that.
And picking up both pistols as well. I think they were almost a bit lucky to get those. Had they lost one of those...
3-sub picked up both.
Yeah, so that's...
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant method did.
Sorry, no, yeah. That was like kind of lucky for them. Their T side was so bad, they only actually picked up 2 gun rounds. So coming into that was pretty interesting for them, but there we go.
So we'll take a look at the final scores. Keeping an eye on things again, just for those of you joining us this evening, very straightforward. The blacked out graph line in the kills. So in Davey's case, 12. That's headshots versus the 28 total kills that he picked up. So if you had him in fantasy value, that's 4 points for a headshot. A lot more points given. and then straightforwarded from there. I mean, Death's 20, he was definitely in on the early action, hence why all the trades came against him, but solid performance as well from Mainline on Method, who stepped up tonight, more so than what we would have expected from someone like Strepper, and Silent was actually lagging significantly behind.
Yeah, Strebor was so good on their CT, that middle area control. Although he didn't get the most amount of frags, I think he was vital in their CT half. He was so good.
Impact for sure.
Yeah, like every time the players were coming towards him, he was getting 1 or 2, falling back, not even dying. So it was fantastic for him.
And actually, we looked at that graph, there was a lot of first kills that came his name, and that's because of that position he played. Highlighting here the MVP, Davey. You can see his comparisons to the other players. But we won't waste much time. We'll go straight to a break. This series still has the potential to continue on because we go to Train, another new map, and it's Method's choice. The bad news is they have to start out on the T side of it, but it's another map. If they have smokes out, can still be the T-sided map. So before we go to the break, I guess really quickly, prediction on that map?
I think they can bounce back. I think it's going to go 1-1.
All right.
And we can do it. I want to see the 3 map. That's what I want. It's not so much a prediction. That's what I'd like to see. So
all right,
obviously, it's difficult to know. I haven't seen these teams play these maps, so there we go.
Well, we'll see if Henry gets his way. We'll be right back, guys. Don't go anywhere. So they bounce the flash. Aria trying to catch them off, and they are stacked up. This is the correct read, but they're all there. There's 4. Luckily, Davey has managed to kill one without getting overexposed.
There wasn't a punish whatsoever. You can see this is how it went down. Actually, a decent flashbang play from him. This is the kill that should have. That's what he should be going down the bottle
with it. He'd get a bomb down. It would help him so much, but that's not going to happen because Silent closing out too.
First pick, and yeah, it looks like the T's have got a little bit of a mountain to climb now. They've got the Tech 9s in hand. Aggression on the long haul. He's going to get great info there.
Trevor, another spray down. Second time he's got a double, make it a triple this time, in fact.
More successful than their actual gun rounds. Maybe they should be running something a little bit like that when they actually have full buys instead of just saving it to the Tech 9 rounds. But they're doing. They went through the drop down area again. You can see this great play from him. It's coming in from all angles as well. T didn't have a look in at all. It's too much to look out for him. And he's got completely wrecked there, and the bomb going down that difficult area. Well, this is it. It's like when you've gathered that much economy and you can keep these weapons, I think keeping the auto shotgun's kind of questionable, but it allows you to be a bit more loose. It's going to be a really exciting round. There's a big one that has to happen.
Oh, that shotgun they line up. It's actually a team kill. How does Mainline turn sideways like that? Abe does manage, or rather Abe, managed to take down Mainline, but he's canceled out. It's through the smoke, though. Kiko, 1-2, make it 3. The new boy on the team making a massive effect. It's down to